There are several ways that you can search the newspaper archive depending upon what you select for your search criteria. You can search for all of the words in a phrase, an exact phrase, any of the words that you put in on the line, or none of those words. I'm going to search to find out if my grandfather ever had a mustache. I've heard rumors that he did, and I'm sure if he did, it would have made the newspapers. So first, I'm going to type in my grandfather's name, and I'm going to search for that. And you can see that it brought back almost 8,000 results on newspaper pages. So this is a lot to sort through, so I'm going to try a different search criteria. I'm going to look for the exact phrase of my grandfather's name. Okay, that's a little better. Now I've got 220 results. But then I remembered I also have an uncle with the name of John Stanislav. So I'm going to go and put in my grandfather's middle initial and try that. Okay, even better. I'm down to 46 pages that I have to look through. But I'm going to go over here and I'm going to add, by clicking the plus button, another part of the search. And I'm going to search for mustache. And it will search within those results. And now it's brought me back one result. So we'll click on that newspaper page and we'll scroll down until we see a highlighted word, and there we go. And we find out not only did my grandfather have a mustache, but he won second place in the Blenco Centennial Mustache Contest in 1971. I'll do a second search, and because of my ego, I'm going to look for my name in the newspapers. And I show up 117 times. But since there's some things that I'd just as soon not be reminded of, I'm going to use the not function, and I'm going to ask for none of the words arrested, convicted, or probation. Yeah, that didn't cut out that many of them. But still, it's nice to know that I can go down and scan through the pages without being reminded of difficult memories. So even though it was many years ago, to my memory, I was always on the A honor roll at school. And I'll bet you the newspapers can back me up. So I'm going to go search for my name, and I'm going to give an additional search criteria, and I'm going to look for the exact phrase honor roll. So even though there's only 20 results, I'm going to cut this down a little bit by use of the time filter. I know that I was in high school during the 1970s, so we'll just look at newspapers from that time frame. We're going to look at the time filter, 1970, and I know I graduated in 1972, so let's see what that tells me. Here we go. We'll look at the Onawa Sentinel from February 10th. Now, one thing I also want to show you is searching within a page, because there can be a lot of text. This little magnifying glass up here. If I click that, I can type in what I'm looking for, and it should highlight that on the page as well. And here we go. There's the West Monona second 9-week honor roll, and if I scroll down to the seniors, it turns out that I wasn't on the A honor roll after all. But you know, B, that was pretty good, right? Once you've found something in the newspaper, you may want to make a copy of it for your own records, so you don't have to go back and search every time you want to see the same information. So let's show you how to make a clipping. If you go up here, there's a little sign up here that says crop. You click that, and you'll notice a highlighted area shows up on your screen. We're going to drag that over to where we want what we want to see. We may have to scroll a little bit. And you can move by getting the little blue box, expand this to cover the area that you want to clip. So in this case, we will clip the entire honor roll. And once I've fit that over what I want to save here, we'll get the little arrow, and the screen will come up, and we can add a title and some notes about this. And then click Next. And if we want to add additional information, we could do that. Otherwise, we can go Next. And then we have two options. We can print that by clicking the little printer and have a copy of it. Or we can download that and save it. And when we download it, it will save it as an image, as a JPEG file that you can then copy and paste into a word processing document or another picture, but that's a way of saving this information. And when you're done, you just click the little X and you're back to where you began. For genealogists, one of the most valuable sources from a newspaper can be the obituary. But you have to keep in mind that in newspaper writing, they didn't always use the word obituary. I'm going to go out and search for my grandpa's obituary. And first of all, I'm going to go look for his name. And then I'm going to add an additional part to that search. And I'm going to look for any of the words past, called, or obituary. Because quite often in newspaper obituary writing, they will talk about somebody who has passed on or called home, and occasionally they'll use the word obituary. Okay? And since this is scanning entire newspaper pages, you may not get an exact search because the name you're looking for could be on a page with somebody else's obituary. As it turns out, if I look at the second entry, there is my grandfather's obituary. Now, if you're looking in the database for wedding information, that can be even more of a challenge. Keep in mind that in newspaper writing, they didn't always use the word married or wedding. So we're going to look at some alternatives. I'm going to search for my grandfather again. And I'm going to add an additional search criteria, and I'm going to look for any of the words married or nuptials or wedding or another word that was often used, solemnized, and we'll search on that. And here we go. We have some alternatives. Here's one from 1979 from grandparents. Looks like grandparents' 65th anniversary. Okay, if I scroll through this page, we find out that Mr. and Mrs. John F. Stanislav, Grandma and Grandpa, had their 65th wedding anniversary. So I hope this helps you get started searching the newspaper archives at the Onawa Public Library. For myself, I'm going to go back and look at the honor roll information for every year I was in school, because I know I made the A honor roll somewhere. Thanks a lot. Good searching.